Welcome to today's class. We are looking at the seed plants. The plant kingdom consists of seedless plants and seed plants. The seedless plants, often called the lower plants, consist of the bryophytes and the pteridophytes, while the seed plants are the higher plants and they consist of angiosperms and gymnosperms. Now, seed plants are known as spermatophytes. The term sperma refers to seeds. Now, the spermatophytes consist of two groups, the gymnosperms and the angiosperms. Gymno means naked, while sperma means seed. So from their name, it follows that they have naked seeds. Gymnosperms produce seeds that are not enclosed in fruits. The seeds of gymnosperms are held by structures known as cones. Gymnosperms, meaning naked seeds, are a diverse group of seed plants and they are paraphyletic. Paraphyletic groups are those in which not all members are descendants of a single common ancestor. Gymnosperm characteristics include naked seeds, separate male and female gametes, pollination by wind, and a vascular system. Gymnosperm seeds are not enclosed in an ovary, rather they are exposed on cones or modified leaves. Now, gymnosperms are classified into the following groups: Ginkgophyta, Cycadophyta, Coniferophyta, and Gnetophyta. We'll talk more about those groups later, but quickly let's look at angiosperms. Angiosperms refers to plants that have their seeds covered. Note that, covered seeds. Angiosperms are flowering plants. Angiosperms have their seeds enclosed in fruits. The angiosperms, also known as the flowering plants, have evolved to dominate most terrestrial ecosystems. With over 250,000 species, the angiosperms division is second only to insects in terms of diversification. So there's a large diversity in the angiosperm. The success of angiosperms is due to two novel reproductive structures: flowers and fruit. The flower helps to ensure pollination. So here we have flowers growing in a botanical garden border. Flowering plants dominate terrestrial landscapes. The vivid color of flowers are an adaptation to pollination by animals such as insects and birds. Flowers also provide protection for the ovule and developing embryo inside a receptacle. The function of the fruits is seed disperser. They also protect the developing seeds. There are different fruit structures or tissues on the fruit, like the sweet flesh, the wings, the parachute, or spines that grab, which reflect the dispersal strategies that help to spread seeds. Angiosperms are classified into two groups: Monocotyledon and dicotyledon. Now let's go back to gymnosperm diversity. We said there are four groups: the Ginkgophyta, the Cycadophyta, the Coniferophyta, and the Gnetophyta. Ginkgophyta, the single surviving species of the Ginkgophyta group is Ginkgo biloba. Its fan-shaped leaves are unique among seed plants because they feature a dichotomous vernation pattern. Now, the leaves usually turn yellow in autumn and fall from the tree. For centuries, Ginkgo biloba was cultivated by Chinese Buddhist monks in monasteries, and this has ensured its preservation. It is planted in public spaces because it is unusually resistant to pollution. Male and female organs are produced on separate plants. Typically, gardeners plant only male trees because the seeds produced by the female plant has an off-putting smell of rancid butter. Now, this plate from the 1870 book Flora Japonica depicts the leaves and fruits of ginkgo biloba. Now, Cycadophyta. Cycads thrive in mild climates, and they are often mistaken for palms because of the shape of their large compound leaves. Cycads bear large cones, and they may be pollinated by beetles rather than wind, and that's an unusual feature in Gymnosperms. Cycads face possible extinction, and several species are protected through international conventions. Now, because of their attractive shape, they are often used as ornamental plants in gardens in the tropics and subtropics. This is an example of a cycad, Encephalatus ferox. It has large cones and broad fern-like leaves. We come to the next group, Coniferophyta. These are the dominant division of Gymnosperms with the most variety of species. Most are typically tall trees that usually bear needle-like or scale-like leaves. Water evaporation from leaves is reduced by their thin shape and the thick cuticle. Snow slides easily on needle-shaped leaves, keeping the load light and decreasing breaking of branches. Adaptations to cold and dry weather explain the predominance of conifers at high altitudes and in cold climates. Conifers include familiar evergreen trees like the pines, the spruces, the firs, the cedars, the sequoias, and the yews. Now, a few species are deciduous and lose their leaves in the fall. Examples of deciduous conifers include the European larch and the tamarack. Many coniferous trees are harvested for paper pulp and timber. The wood of conifers is more primitive than the wood of angiosperms. Conifers wood contain tracheads but lacks vessel element and is as a result called softwood. Conifers are the dominant form of vegetation in cold or arid environments and at high altitudes. We have examples of conifers, the evergreen spruce, the juniper, sequoia, and the tamarack. And here are also some examples. So let's come to the last group called the Gnetophyta. Gnetophytes are the closest relative to modern angiosperms. They include three dissimilar genera of plants, Ephedra, Gnetum, and Welwitschia. Like angiosperms, they have broad leaves. In tropical and subtropical zones, gnetophytes are vines or small shrubs. Ephedra occurs in dry areas of the west coast of the United States and Mexico. Ephedra's small scale-like leaves are the sources of the compound ephedrine used in medicine as a potent decongestant. Now, because ephedrine is similar to amphetamines both in chemical structure and neurological effects, its use is restricted to prescription drugs. Like angiosperms, but unlike other gymnosperms, all gnetophytes possess vessel elements in their xylem. That's a point to note. These are examples of gnetophytes: Ephedra, Gnetum, and Welwitschia. This is a video talking about Welwitschia. We'll skip that for now. So let's look at some importance of gymnosperms. The wood from gymnosperms are used for paper and lumber. Taxol is a drug gotten from the bark of a gymnosperm, Taxus brevifolia, and is used to treat ovarian cancer. Resin is the sticky aromatic substance produced by specialized cells in the resin ducts of the cortex of gymnosperms. Resin is used for sealing a variety of products like wood, fiber, and clay. Now, the pine and Douglas fir are coniferous trees used as Christmas trees. And you have ephedra, small scale-like leaves, is a source of the compound ephedrine used in medicine as a potent decongestant. Now let's talk of the diversity of angiosperms. Angiosperms are composed of the monocotyledons and the dicotyledons. Plants in the monocot group are primarily identified as such by the presence of a single cotyledon in the seedling. Dicots comprise 2/3 of all flowering plants. That is, they are more abundant than monocots. They are characterized by the presence of 2 cotyledons in the developing shoot. Here is a table comparing and showing the differences between dicots and monocots. So dicots, they may be woody or herbaceous. Monocots are usually herbaceous. Flower parts of dicots are in multiples of 4 or 5. The floral parts in monocots are in multiples of 3. Dicots are net-veined, monocots are parallel-veined. The vascular tissue is arranged in the stem in form of rings, while the bundles of vascular tissues are scattered throughout the stem in monocots. Dicots have 2 cotyledons, monocots have 1 cotyledon. There's taproot system in dicots and there's fibrous root system in monocots. Most dicots produce pollen that is trisulcate or triporate. The pollen while in monocot plants, the pollen is monosulcate, containing a single furrow or pore through the outer layer. These are examples of dicots and monocots. Rice, wheat, and bananas are monocots, and you have cabbage, you have beans and peaches as examples of dicots. So we'll stop here, and in the next class we'll look at reproduction in spermatophytes. Thank you.